Hello lovely people and welcome back to this week's new vlog! I legit just finished filming the outro to my last reading vlog, but it's Friday morning still because it's 11:42 and I am kicking off my Peruse Readathon vlog. I'm so very excited because I actually have this weekend off due to unfortunate circumstances because I'm self-quarantining and the restaurant that I work at usually over the weekend is unfortunately closed. But the highlight of that, my silver lining, is that I get to read, which I never usually get to read. If you watch my vlogs at all and you know me, weekends are when I read the least because I work. But since I'm quarantined, I'm hoping that I can get a lot of reading done. I'm not quite sure about today, honestly, because Oliver is here. I'm dog sitting him for the day and he's 6 months old. He's a 6-month-old toy poodle, so he has lots of energy, he requires a lot of attention, and on top of that, this is a new environment for him, so it's very unsettling for him, and he hasn't quite reached the point of relaxation even though he's been here for 3 hours. So he's running around the house a lot and I just want to make sure he's not getting into anything and he is not going to get in harm's way. For my TBR, I have 3 books and possibly an audiobook, which I will talk about, but the book that I'm currently reading is The 12th Card by Jeffery Deaver. This is the 6th book in the Lincoln Rhyme series. It is about a girl who is being targeted. She is looking into one of her ancestors who is a freed slave, and they're figuring out whether or not his arrest has anything to do with her being targeted. My second book is The Astonishing Color of After by Emily X.R. Pan. I actually have the audiobook for this, so I might follow along with that. This is a YA book about grief, I think. Lee's mother died by suicide and she turned into a bird, and Lee, who is half white and half Asian, goes to Taiwan to meet her maternal grandparents for the first time, and she is determined to find her mother. The bird, it says it alternates between reality and magic. No, Ollie! I hope by listening to it on audiobook will help me move along the process. And this is the chunkiest book. I promise it's not this long. My Sweet Audrina by B.C. Andrews. This does have the second book, White Fern, in it, which is why it's this big. The font is super big. It does look like the first one is over 500 pages, so I'm not sure, but this is a mystery. I heard about it on my true crime comedy podcast that I love to listen to, My Favorite Murder. That's what I have so far. I actually have gotten some reading done today prior to me vlogging, so I'm gonna count it. I've already read about 63 pages so far. I am starting this vlog a little late because now filming this clip, it's 12:08. I was planning on starting it earlier, but since Ollie was here, it took a lot of time and I ate breakfast with my mom. I did make coffee though. I'll show you guys how it went. I found a video from BuzzFeed Tasty of how to make it, and apparently it is a trend, like this Korean trend that I wanted to try. I'll link it down below, but it's from Alvin Zhu, works for BuzzFeed Tasty, and he posted it on his Instagram. It's called Whipped Coffee Technique, possibly Korean origins. I don't think I whipped it enough, which is why it looked kind of liquidy, the foam at the end. It was good though. Hey! I would want to perfect it a little bit more. I'm gonna get to reading. Hopefully he won't be too much of a distraction. just finished the 12th card, as you saw. So this is my first finished book of this reading vlog. However, I didn't read this entire thing. I only read the last 180 pages of it, but I have read a decent amount of pages today. And because it's a readathon, I am going to continue reading through today. And because I have the audiobook of the Astonishing Color of After, I think I'm gonna start that. As for my review, I gave it 3.5 stars. This was sort of lacking as compared to the first 5 books in the series. Instead of the usual fun and interesting twists, it was just going back and forth between, does this have anything to do with her Reed ancestor? Does it not? Oh, but it does. And it just kind of felt boring. I was still interested in, I don't know, maybe not a 3.5 because I was pretty average. But I mean, some parts of it did pique my interest enough to give it that. Late on Saturday and I didn't update you at all today. I woke up late because I couldn't sleep at all the night before, so I got like 4 hours of sleep, so I ended up sleeping like 11 hours last night. Today I was very well rested, had like a really late lunch and decaf coffee. It only felt right to make a coffee. I usually don't have it every day. In the spirit of PERUSE Readathon, I wanted to do that. Today though, I've only been listening to the audiobook of the Astonishing Color of After. I was about like 14 or 17% of the way through, and now I'm at 48, sitting it on 2.25 speed actually, and it says I'm on track to finish in 3 hours. I don't think I could finish that today, but definitely by tomorrow. Right now I am watching Kat from Paperback Dreams and her backlist readathon vlog. I'm waiting for my boyfriend to finish dinner so that we could talk on FaceTime, because we actually haven't done that. We've been texting a lot, we've been Snapchatting, we've been talking on Instagram and things like that, but we haven't talked on the phone or FaceTimed or anything like that. If you don't know, Coda and I have done long distance before. We're sort of prepared in how to deal with spending some time apart. This isn't anything new for us. Right now I think I'm gonna continue watching Kat's vlog. I am planning on working out again today. I'm still very sore, like my legs especially are stiff. I have to stretch and get through it, get my body to get used to it. So yeah, I'm feeling pretty good about it. Good afternoon. Coda and I were FaceTiming last night and slept later than I usually have been during this quarantine, so like past 3 a.m. I woke up today, spent time scrolling through my social media, and then immediately got to listening to my audiobook, but decided to switch back to read physically. I have about 50 pages left. I'm just about to start chapter 97, which is page 418, which means I've already read almost 200 pages already for today, which is really good. I definitely will finish this, you know, since I only have 50 pages left. I just wanted to get in a couple of my thoughts about what I thought about the book so far, because I don't think I've talked about it at all, but this book is a lot about grief. Lee's mom dies by suicide, so not only is she dealing a lot about grief, but a lot about, not regret, what is it called? Guilt, because she doesn't know if she could have stopped this, so she's trying to figure out what she could have done to help her mother and understand her mother better. I don't know if this is like magical realism. Her mother has turned into a bird and she's talking to her. She has these memories, not even her own, like flashbacks that she's looking as an outsider, so like her parents' memories together, and I think it's helping her get a better understanding of what her mother was going through, who her mother was. In terms of that, her grief is a lot different than my own, because my father died through an illness and not by suicide, so her grief is very different in dealing with that, because guilt is very mixed in with that. I can relate to her, but I'm not quite sure how I feel about this book. It's not like blowing my mind or anything like that. I gave this book 3 stars. Like I said before, I really not enjoyed, but appreciated the talk about grief, because in that way I could empathize with Lee. It was also really interesting learning more about the Taiwanese and Chinese culture and their Buddhist rituals and how they are similar or differ to that of the Japanese Buddhist rituals, like the 49 days. I understood those connections were the reason why I bumped it up from like basically 2.5 stars. But I was really disappointed because the magical realism part didn't feel really drawn out. The part about the bird, I didn't feel like there was closure at the end regarding her mother, or that there was any sort of development in Lee's character at all either. I didn't think that she developed as a character or came into any real solid realizations after her mother's death. Her father also really annoyed me. He was this unsupportive asshole man, and then suddenly he was like, oh yeah, let's be happy together at the end, which was really annoying. He was just not the best sort of father figure. He also wasn't there at all, and he like still wanted to be able to tell her what to do and tell her how to feel, and explain to her how her mother was feeling, even though he wasn't there to experience it or see it at all. Now I'm gonna take a little break from reading and make some granola again. We actually ran out already. I might start a new audiobook. I started When a Scot Ties a Knot by Tessa. I've listened to like 80% of it. I have about 50 minutes left since I'm listening to it on 2x speed. I paused it just before chapter 23 so I could talk to you guys about what it's about. So this is about Madeline Grace Church, and she is this shy woman who is an artist basically, and then she is not very social. She gets very uncomfortable in crowds. Her family wants her to get married, but she doesn't want to do that, so she invents a sweetheart, and she writes letters to this imaginary man, Captain Logan Mackenzie, who her family cannot meet because he is fighting in the army. And so she has to send off these letters to make it look legit, and then a couple years later, Captain Mackenzie comes to her door. He wants everything that Maddie promised to him in letters. She had no idea that he's a real person. She killed him off and explained to her family that she is now grieving, but of course, since he showed up at her doorstep, he turns out to be a very real person, and he's very much alive and uninjured. It's pretty funny and cute. The thing I like about Tessa Dare's books is that like the teasing and the banter is done really, really well, which is why I really like them. And I'm excited because this is the third book in her Castles Ever After series, and then the fourth book is actually the fifth book in another series that I'm also catching up on. Those two books tie in together, so I'm really excited about that. I definitely will be able to finish this book today, which is amazing because that will be the third book that I finished for this vlog, and because we're in quarantine, I really wanted to get ahead of my Goodreads challenge. Now my challenge is to read 150 books this year, and I'm on track. When I just finished Astonishing Color of After, I made it on track to 33 books. Being on track is fine. That's really good, obviously. And the only time I've fallen behind is like as far as one book behind, which isn't bad. But I feel like I should be taking this time to be reading a lot more, which audiobooks have been helping because I could do other stuff. The entire time I was making granola, I was listening to this audiobook, and that's why I'm so far into it. I'm not sure about the rating. I know definitely it's gonna be 4 stars, but I guess we'll see how it ends, because not even that her smut is really good. Tessa Dare writes it really well, but I just really like Logan and Mackenzie's, nope, that's his name, Logan and Maddie's relationship. It's just really cute and really believable. Their banter and how she gets so nervous and they're teasing each other, and it feels like they're just arguing all the time, but they're actually flirting. I finished it. Let me tell you, I was on the fence, and I was gonna give it 4.5 or something, but you know what? I was trying to think of why I had a problem with it, and it really did have that factor of like giving me all the feels. And so, you know what? I decided I might just be really mean about giving 5 stars this year because I've had very few of them, so my standards are a little high. This is my second 5-star read. So that is my 34th book of the year. I am very proud of myself for finishing a book within a day. Full 5 stars for When a Scot Ties a Knot. Really loved it. I just really liked how Logan was very protective of Maddie, and not even in this annoying jealousy, like possessive way. I didn't find it possessive at all. I thought it was just a nice touch of his loyalty and his found duty towards her. And also regarding the blackmail that got them in this situation in the first place, I didn't find the stakes to be high because it was just about her reputation, which in the 1800s might have been like a super big deal, but I didn't think it was that big of a deal, so the blackmail part didn't really bother me. And also because Logan was just a really good man, you know, he was scarred coming back from battle, and all he wanted to do was was protect his men from these rich English people that stole the Scots land. In that way, I really liked him. I think the teasing was really sweet, and I just really liked their back and forth and how shy that Maddie was, and how it made me laugh and get all giggly whenever he was teasing her and she was getting all flustered and stuff. I very much enjoyed it. I'm really glad that I was able to give a book a 5-star read for this year. I'm afraid that I won't have a lot, so I'm glad that, you know, now I have 2. I did change into this sweater. Watch Reagan's videos, you'll know that this is one of her favorite sweaters. I actually saw it on her vlog and went out to get it for myself at Urban Outfitters because I couldn't help it, and I am a huge Snoopy fan. Got that from my mom. Oh yeah, my mom did that to stitch after I showed her this video that Kristen Bell posted, like reposted on her Instagram, of this 4-year-old daughter that does cheerleading stunts with her dad. We will have to start a new book, so I'm not sure if that will be 50 Shades of Grey or me actually getting into my sweet Audrina. I didn't expect for this reading vlog, this readathon, to go so well for me. I'm here to wrap up the vlog to distract me from the work that I have to do for my internship. I started off this readathon with reading the 12th card. I finished the last 180 pages of this for the readathon, and that was a lot. I really was able to kick off the readathon very well. And after that, I started the audiobook slash sort of physical read of The Astonishing Color of After by Emily X.R. Pam. I believe I gave the 12th card 3.5 stars. I ended up giving this book 3 stars. Next, I went in with another audiobook. I veered off of my TBR and I started When a Scot Ties the Knot by Tessa, and I gave that book 5 stars. I was very excited and very happy that I veered off and I read another Tessa book. She has quickly become one of my favorite adult romance novelists. I also realized that I really like this narrator, Carmen Rose, although I found it to be a little weird when I was listening to Romancing the Duke because she just does her own like gruff man voice like this. But I'm realizing, you know, I love a good British accent, but also Logan is a Scot and he is, wow, loving that Scottish accent too. Because I was able to finish When a Scot Ties the Knot, I started listening again to another audiobook of 50 Shades of Grey by E.L. James, and I'm still only 16% of the way through it. For the total of pages, because Reagan likes to count them, I read 1,026 pages, excluding the pages that I read or listened to for 50 Shades of Grey because I have no idea what those are. But that means that I read over a total of 1,000 pages over this weekend. I finished 2 full books during this vlog. I completed one that I was reading in my previous vlog, and then I started a new book. So I'd say that's a pretty good reading weekend and readathon for me, like in a short span of time. It's really gotten me into audiobooks, which I'm happy to have discovered for 2020. It put a nice silver lining in this quarantine time. I hope you guys enjoyed my very first weekend reading vlog, and I want to know if you participated in the readathon too, what books you read, and how many you have read. I hope you guys enjoyed. Please give it a big thumbs up, and I'll see you guys in my next video. Bye!